you remember those days of stamina?
I was in bed at 9. Like straight up, real. I was in bed at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
9 o'clock's up. No.
Daytime for you.
Afternoon.
Yeah. Those days are long gone for me.
It's like lunchtime for him.
I can't do it anymore.
Welcome back to another episode of Rec Talk. Today we've got Rob Garner from Abstraction Labs. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for making the journey, mate.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it. You talked about trees earlier, weren't you? I mean,
yeah, loving the trees in Coventry. Like, unbelievable. Like, I'm from London. You don't really see trees that much. Like, occasionally there's like a couple of trees on the street, but like, it's coming down, going past the park, and
did you have the windows down, like breathing in that fresh?
I was just taking it in. I know, like just like removed all the smoke from my lungs, just pulled it out, and just like
take some of this Coventry air back home.
My miss is Irish, so you go back to Ireland and stuff like that, and you go back there, and it's like, oh, it's just lovely air. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Whereabouts in Ireland?
So it's kind of like the southwest. This little place called Castle Connell. It's near like Shannon, Limerick, stuff like that. So, no, it's near a river.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go to one. Never been.
Give it a go. It's lovely.
Yeah, I've been. I've been to Ireland. It's nice, but it's one of those places where you just kind of have to. It's never at the top of your list to go, is it? Nobody ever decides, like, oh yeah, I want to go to Ireland, but it should be.
It's like all the places in England and stuff like that, like Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol, like right on your doorstep, but you never actually go to those places.
Yeah.
And they'd be amazing if you went, but...
I follow this thing on TikTok, Hidden Gems, and it's basically just a TikTok page where like every now and again they'll flash up a video of like this place in like the Lake District or somewhere in like Surrey or wherever. It'd be like, oh, you should go visit this place. So I've got them all saved, and it's like my bucket list of I'm going to go here. I'm never going to go.
We fell for one of those, right? There's like an infinity pool place in the Lake District. And
I've seen that one.
Yeah, which looks amazing in the pictures and stuff like that.
I think I sent it you as well.
And then you get there, and it's just a bunch of like chavvy morons jumping in and out of the lake, and like it's not what, and you kind of like, oh man, this is.
You kind of pictured it like, being so much better and stuff like that. There's like champagne there and lovely robes and whatnot, but no.
Waterfall in the background and that kind of thing. And actually, it's just like some old blokes stood in the waterfall, like getting back
just a swimming pool from the 1980s, just dilapidated.
Yeah, so
pretty much,
it's not always what it's cracked up to be, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, look, Rob, we wanted to talk to you about recruitment websites.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think there's an interesting point that can be raised about is it even worth having a recruitment website anymore? I know that shit's all over recruitment.
No, don't bother.
Yeah, you know that thing you do for a living. Is it even worth it?
Fuck it, why not?
I say don't bother getting a website. Just steer clear of it. No,
You've got LinkedIn.
Yeah, that was another episode of Rec Talk.
No, so there's so many other places. You know, people are on TikTok, they're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn. People are picking up the phone, you're emailing your clients, whatever it may be. And I totally get that. And I've spoken to clients before, and I've been like, I've seen you don't have a website for your business at the moment. Do you want a website? I can make you a website. And I'm like, we haven't had a website for years, and we haven't noticed, a drop off in revenue. But I guess the idea is, if you do have a website, would your revenue increase? And I used to have a recruitment agency for myself years ago, back in like 2012, and I started off with like a GoDaddy or a Wix or a Squarespace, whatever it may be, kind of website. And it was a good kind of like just standard kind of placeholder website. Did a good job for kind of 6 months or so, and then I got a friend of mine, a tech guy I used to work with a company called EMAP. It's like a media company. And he ended up developing this absolutely amazing website. I got this like unbelievable kind of SEO guy to kind of do all the SEO stuff behind it. And it was ranking like top like 1-2 kind of positions for like most of the search terms out there. And the amount of business I got from that, like I'd have clients like phoning me up being like, I found you on Google, we've got this job, are you interested in kind of recruiting for it? Or, you get candidates that are typing, media recruiter in London, blah, blah, blah. So you get in these kind of candidates and clients that are being funneled to you via Google or
inbound
Bing.
Inquiries, yeah.
Exactly. So it does pay off.
But if you're talking sort of early 2010s, I suppose even going up to like 2015, 16, 17, like a time before COVID and all that sort of stuff, there was a level of legitimacy that went behind having a website, didn't it? Like
if you didn't have a website,
if you didn't have a
real
website,
business,
you were just like, are you a real business, or are you just like some sort of scamming type business?
I think you kind of still need that, and I think like more than ever, really, like once you have that website, it seems like you are a legitimate business. And when you are pitching, if you're going to go pitch a big company in your space, if you're trying to recruit for
Chicken Joe's.
Yeah, whatever.
The big franchise that is Chicken Joe's, yeah.
IBM or some massive kind of tech company, the HR person is going to be like, okay, what's your website? I need to check this out. And if you don't have a website, they're going to be like, okay, are you a proper business? Even if you are, or you've got a recommendation or referral, I'm a bit hesitant about dealing with you because
yeah, absolutely, it's a very dated concept to not have a website, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but we're now in an age though where socials are so important, where it's almost becoming, unless your business has socials, it's do you know what I mean? There's like
but even as
bit of a
candidates, if
question
a candidate doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, it's like that's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah. But I suppose it depends on the sector as well. So my father-in-law is like a field service engineer. So he kind of makes, he kind of repairs like tunnels and stuff like that. Like, I don't think he's got a LinkedIn. But if you work in, you know,
finance, IT,
then you're going to have a LinkedIn. And if you don't have a LinkedIn, I'm like, okay, are you a real candidate? It seems a bit weird. And why don't you have a LinkedIn? I guess it's just one part of the funnel. Like, yeah, you should be, you know, pushing LinkedIn, you should have content on LinkedIn, you should be advertising on LinkedIn, but then you should also have a website and have, you know, TikTok and all these other kind of
So you're saying
avenues.
it's more about kind of adding it as a level of presence?
I think there's different reasons for it. So it is, you know, brand, it is directly funneling business to your agency. Talent as well. Like if you want people to come and work for you, like I'm going to jump on your website, you know, I'm going to see, you know, what jobs are they recruiting for, you know, I want to see the team, I want to see the offices, I want to see like the social nights out and stuff like that. So it's a good place to kind of showcase those things as well.
That being said, actually, I mean, a lot of the times, I mean, we've done it recently when you're pitching a new client, they're like, oh, send me like a pitch deck or send me some info about you guys. More recently, I've just been sending them the website, the link to the website.
Websites, in my opinion, at the minute, are absolutely just brochureware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the amount of importance that some businesses place on having a vacancies page, and it needs to link with my CRM, it needs to link with my Broadbean account or EDB or LogicMan or whatever, and I need it all there, and the vacancies need to be up to date. I would argue that there's not that many applications coming directly from a business's website from candidates. I think it's more of the website is the brochureware of, hey, we exist, this is who we are, and this is what we're about.
I think if your website is ranking on page 1, you're going to get a lot of incoming business. You're getting candidates landing on there and they're seeing the jobs and they're applying for those jobs. If you're on page 3, 4, 5, 6, then yeah, you're probably not getting those candidates. You're not getting those candidates, and you're not going to see that.
That's an expensive game to play, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because in today's world, to rank on page 1 of Google, that's like you've got to be able to put money behind that, haven't you?
Not necessarily. I think if you make a well-made website, so Google kind of ranks you based on a bunch of different kind of reasons. So one of them speed. So if you've got a fast website, Google's like, okay, I like your website, I'm going to push you up the ranking. If your website's accessible for like people with disabilities or using screen readers, it's like, okay, I like that as well. If it's well kind of SEO'd, if it's kind of like
wheelchair users.
so basically, so the idea behind the
an accessible website, has it got a ramp on it or something?
So you have things like screen readers. So if I can't see properly, and there's a lot of people that are like, you know, can't see properly. You know, you can use a screen reader on your website. It kind of reads out the text and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or you know, if you're missing limbs or whatever it is,
diversity and inclusion part of our website as well.
No, you need to get like a DLI person, yes, don't you? But you can like tab around on a website as well. So you know, not everyone can use a mouse, and maybe you want to use the keyboard, and you can like press the tab key, and you can kind of go around the website and the fields and stuff like that. So that's the idea behind it, really. So all these kind of things play a part.
So it's not just about how much you spend with Google and how good your SEO rankings are.
No, so you can not spend a penny with Google and still rank pretty high.
And what about how friendly it is on like mobiles and stuff like that? Does that
yeah, that's a massive one as well. So it needs to be kind of mobile responsive. And I think it's weird if your website isn't mobile responsive these days. And how I design it is I always design mobile first and then build it out to the desktops.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, most of the traffic you get these days is going to be through the mobile. So I think most job seekers are going to be on the mobile at some point. So I think it's like, I don't know what the stat is, like 55% or 60% of kind of job seekers are using their mobile phone to look for jobs. They might not be applying, but they're looking around. So they're on LinkedIn, you know, they're scrolling through LinkedIn. Oh, okay, I'm going to mark that for later on. And when I'm on my laptop or my tablet, I'm going to apply to that. Or they're looking for kind of recruitment agencies and they're scrolling through their phone, you know, over lunch or on the commute and stuff like that. So yeah.
My old man does it. My dad's like, what, 62 or something like that? Born in India, like really kind of just like a proper tech dinosaur. But all his applications, even like using timesheet software and all that sort of stuff, it's all done on the mobile. In fact, I think he'd find it harder to use it on a laptop or a computer than he would on a mobile.
It's a really interesting thing that you build your websites from mobile first, because I know a lot of developers don't do that. They go straight to desktop, optimize it on there, and then kind of let the program or whatever they're using kind of come up with a mobile version of it, and then they just sort of tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think when we think of websites, you think of it on your desktop, and that's, I guess, where you get the best experience, or it looks the best on desktop.
Again, dated concept, because like you said, most people are on their phones.
Yeah, right? Most people on their phones, and you kind of got to go down that mobile first route, and then you work up to a big screen and kind of leave it at that. But it's always mobile first. So
yeah, fair.
There you go.
So what's the kind of growing trend at the minute in recruitment websites? What's the thing that more and more people are inquiring about or asking for in terms of functionality or feature?
I think a lot of integrations. Mm-hmm. So I think RecTech it's kind of had it's really kind of cropping up a lot more, and I think people, whether you're a recruitment agency owner or a marketer or whatever level you're at, people are thinking a lot more about RecTech. They're thinking about their kind of CRM. They're thinking about various tools that can kind of funnel leads towards them, or analyze traffic, or whatever it may be, or kind of AI tools. So people are looking more and more for integration. So anytime I'm having a brief, people are like, okay, I want to integrate, this with it. I want to integrate our CRM with it. I want to integrate, this tool and this tool. So these are the things that are kind of cropping up on a regular basis.
Is that really important though? I mean, is it important for
I think it's a time saver in some ways. So if I integrate your website with your CRM, you're going to save time there. So your consultants can be like, okay, I've registered this new job on the CRM, and then you could push it straight to the website. Mm-hmm. And the same, if someone applies for a job on your website, their details go straight into the CRM. So you don't have to kind of sit there and input their first name, their last name, their email address, telephone numbers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you're saving time on that admin when you kind of integrate things like that.
Okay, but what about things like having a vacancies list, or having like a live vacancies list, or having things like an about us page, and all these different weird, like, like if you meet the team pages and stuff like that, if you meet the team pages constantly changing, why bother? Because I know a lot of people, we've been victim of it as well, where we've gone, we need to have this on our website, we need to have that, we need to have this. How much of it can you really strip back and then?
I think there's always certain pages on a recruitment website. You've always got your landing page, and about us, a team. There's like a testimonials page, contact us, jobs, blog page. There's always kind of certain pages you're always going to get. I think all of those pages are needed to make a good website, and they appeal to different people at different parts of the journey. So the testimonial page, you're probably going to need that. So if you've got an HR or a hiring manager person looking at your business for the first time, they're probably going to look at that page and be like, okay, do I know anyone else or any other businesses that compete with us that have given these guys a testimonial? And if they have, I'm more likely to kind of buy in. Or, if I'm looking to work for your agency, I want to see the team page. I want to see, the kind of people that work here. I want to see a bit about them. I want to see if it's,
I can
similar.
check that on their TikTok, and I can check that on their socials, can't I?
You could check, on LinkedIn. You go through LinkedIn and stuff like that. But, I'm on your website. I'm having a look through. I'm having a scroll through. If I'm thinking about working for a business, I'm going to spend half an hour or so on your website, having a look through things, reading things. Like, it's just basic research as well, isn't it? Like, people want to kind of be prepared before they turn up at an interview and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've seen, this person works with you and they like this, I like this as well.
We've had it actually when people turn up and they talk about the team and what I mean? And you can tell they've been on the website and that kind of thing. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because your recruitment website has essentially got to speak to three different people, potential clients, potential candidates, and potential staff.
Yeah.
And so it's always going to have multiple layers. There's no way you can really just have an effective one-pager that's going to tick all those boxes, unless you're kind of early stage startup and you're starting out your journey. But essentially you need to have that kind of careers page, the about page, because as I said, there are people who want to know about the business and how long you've been going and all that sort of stuff.
So do you think that's the evolution then of websites, is that actually we've gone from it needing to be a brochure to it's so integral within the business, so ingrained within the business that actually it needs to speak to those three kind of demographics, as well as speak to all the different recruitment tech that you've got? And
like back in the day when I had my agency, it was a brochure. That's all it was, really. It was just kind of a brochure, and I'd upload the jobs on there and the blog and stuff like that, but it didn't integrate with our CRM or anything else. I think in this day and age, I think the main priority is, does it integrate with all this other tech around me? And recruitment agencies are using so much tech these days, and one of the key things
it's
is
a
like,
booming
does it
market right
all
now. Yeah,
integrate together? Like that's the key thing.
So let's talk about integrations then. How easy or difficult is it for a non-tech minded person? Because
sometimes it's really easy, sometimes it's really hard. Like sometimes it's literally one line. So if you want to put, say, I'm kind of like throwing so many brands and stuff like that. There's other brands apart from these, but if you want to kind of do like a HubSpot chatbot, that's like a free tool. You can kind of use that. You can kind of set up like the conversations. You know, when you jump on a website, a little chatbot pops up and it's like, oh, hi, how can I help you and stuff like that. You can kind of set that up quite easy yourself, and the HubSpot do like a free version. And that's literally one line. So you take the one line that they give you from HubSpot, put that into your website, into one of the pages, and it just gets served on the bottom of the page. And there's some things.
Some make it extremely complex as well, don't they? Yeah.
And I used to work for a recruitment software company, a really good one. And we were doing a LinkedIn integration. So that system now fully integrates kind of back and forth on both sides with LinkedIn. That was a huge job. You know, that's taken about a year and a half. And that was a kind of a full dev team working on that. Some really amazing seniors on there as well. But that took like a year and a half to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do people make it so difficult then? Because essentially you're both trying to service the same customer. I can think of one particular big business.
Don't name them.
Yeah, they're huge, but they charge a silly amount, thousands, just to open up an API to integrate to your website. You probably know who I'm talking about. But they charge an extortionate amount just to open up an API so that you can link to that to your own website. And it's like, why do you need to do that? What is it that you think this website is taking off you that you're not gonna that you need to charge that kind of amount?
Yeah. I mean, there's a degree of work that is involved from a development, from a technical point of view. Like you've got to set up this API, so you need like a development team that kind of sets up that API, kind of maintains it. Maybe you need to kind of add new like endpoints and stuff like that, or new kind of like places people kind of plug into. So, like, I guess there is the maintenance side of it. It depends on what the integration is doing. Sometimes people are like, okay, can you do an integration with this? I'm like, okay, you need to tell me what you actually want out of it. Like you saying I want
integration.
Because it could be 20 different things. Yeah. If you want a full integration, that's going to take ages. If you just want this one tiny thing, it might be one line of code. I can just do that free. But yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made, though, that legacy tech or legacy brands often make it more difficult, because when they were in the early stages of building their product, like open source and API wasn't really in the conversation, because integration wasn't the forefront of every kind of end customer's mind, whereas now it is. Right now they're sat there going, no, I have 6 different rec tech products that I use on a daily basis, and I need them all to talk to each other.
And I think the market has changed a lot.
Yeah,
over the last
there's a
kind of
clear
10 years
trend
or
of
so.
those that are kind of newer products are very, very easy to integrate in and out of, because they understand the importance of that. Whereas more of the kind of the more established products, it's so hard to then go right back to the start and be like, no, we didn't.
It's
really
probably the
think
same for
about
all
this.
software. Like, you know, things do develop, the market does develop, and you don't know where it's going to be in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years time. So those newer products that have come to the market are probably in a better position development point of view, because you're kind of starting with kind of a greenfield project. You're like, okay, this is what we need it to do down the roadmap, as opposed to a legacy bit of software where you're like, we've made this 10 years ago, and now we're kind of stuck with this, and now we have to kind of bolt things
kind of
on.
retrofitting things onto it
to
do
which is way harder
really
to do.
clunky, doesn't it? Is when you've got again, there's a pretty significant like CRM out there that's just kind of bolting on non-stop products to one another, isn't it? And that makes it more challenging. So is it there's an argument to say though that is there too much recruitment tech going out there at the minute? Is there,
like, I was thinking this a little while ago, like I'm out of the business these days. Like I haven't had like my recruitment agency for years now, and I haven't recruited since like 2020, I think it is. So I always do wonder, like, what's like the average billings for a consultant now versus
the amount of tech that
what
you're
it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like, you know, I say the average back then in media was like, if you were doing 120 to 150 a year,
that was probably the golden number, wasn't it?
But
it's quite reasonable. Like, you're going to be safe there, you're making a good bit of commission.
You're exactly right. That figure hasn't changed. That's still the golden number.
So that's funny. But you have all this tech.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? The cost of getting that consultant to make those numbers has gone up loads. So
why is that then? So why has that number gone up and that number stayed the same?
because the same number of the vacancies don't change, right? The number of clients that are actively using agencies don't change. So some would argue quite the opposite, right? In the businesses out there are struggling, shutting down, all the rest of it. And I think that golden number is kind of just so ingrained into it. If I get my consultant to 120 a year, they're in a good place. It's like, well, that's fine when your outlay on that consultant was 50, like with office space and all the rest of it. But now you've got 6 different products of RecTech, the latest iPhone, the latest laptop, the work from home benefit that you're giving them, and all the rest of it. And it's sort of like
plus the commission. That doesn't even include the commission or the base salary.
Plus the commission that used to be 10 to 15%, then 20% was wow, and now it's like 40 to 50% in some agencies.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one this morning. 40 to 50%. I was like, what? If you're after 40 to 50%, do not call us. Like commissions have gone up, and it's sort of like, right, so you to get that person to bill you 120 a year, you're having to pay them about 80 to 90.
And the margin is so much smaller now,
you're operating within such a small margin now.
Yeah. And now when things do go wrong, if the economy does take a dip, your costs are so much higher, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to...
But there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses as well. So, I'm like, right, well, I've got Rob from this big agency, he wants to come and join us, but he's used to using like video tech, and he's used to using automation on outreach, and he's used to using a MailChimp equivalent that he particularly likes. And it's like, right, to secure him, I've had to now invest in these 3 lots of tech.
I'm quite old school. Like, give me a telephone, give me emails.
There's not many of those
give me
about
LinkedIn.
Like, I'm happy with that. There's not many of those about anymore.
I bang this from quite a lot.
It's the old lot, isn't it? That's what it is.
Well, I bang this from quite a lot because I'm just like, a lot of the tech that's out there at the minute, you're trying to fix a problem that isn't that big a problem to fix. It's like, if you're talking about certain use of AI, right? Okay, yeah, the quality of adverts could be getting better. But actually... are the quality of adverts getting that much better? Because so yesterday there was that AI summit thing, wasn't it? From there's 27 countries in Elon, and Elon Musk turned up and all that sort of stuff. So there was a professor, like this professor who was from Oxford, talking about, like, I think he's a specialist in like computer sciences and kind of artificial intelligence, and he was saying that the problem we've got is that the data sample that AI is getting its source from is the internet.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's been put out is stuff that's been put out by AI.
Oh, yes. It goes into an echo chamber.
Yeah.
So the AI ends up feeding
using
its
own information.
Yeah. And it becomes more narrow and narrow. And probably, more extreme in its views and stuff like that.
And what they're saying now is that we're at a point with AI where the information that there's so much AI information being put out there, like job adverts, like blogs, like whatever content people want to put out there, which is written by AI, which actually isn't reflective of real world market and what real world perception is. But the problem is there's that much content being pushed out now that they're actually worried about the fact that we're going to have to start the internet all over again because
I totally agree. It's going to get to the point where it's just feeding off a smaller and smaller data set, and I don't know how it's going to work. Like, do you need a new internet? Does it need to be totally redeveloped? Do you need to like ban it from parts of it, or can you be like, you can't actually take content and you have to kind of come up with your own data sets? Or I don't know what it's going to be.
So what people are saying is that they need to use AI as a co-pilot rather than as an actual
leading tool.
tool.
But I use it loads as well. Like I kind of. I don't base all my work on it, but like,
it's a great co-pilot.
Stuff like
You're
that,
absolutely right. It's a great.
I use that as a skeleton, and even when I'm writing code, like I get stuck on something, I could put that into, one of the tools, one of the AI tools, and that is like unbelievable. Yeah. Like it can write like unbelievable stuff for you these days.
I was hearing something yesterday where this teacher was talking about AI, and he was like, he teaches in secondary school, and he was like, it saves me so much time because he goes, I have to input the data into the AI. And I think he was using like GPT or something like that, and he was like, I'll put the stuff in there, and it would be like, give me a list of 12 questions that I need to quiz my students on. This is the subject matter.
Based on this.
Yeah. And he's like, I still have to read through the information because he'd be like, oh, well, that's actually wrong, so that can't be it. But he goes, what it does do is it gives me a very skeleton-like sort of baseline to start with. So, okay, well, now I know.
And it gets me thinking, and I can go down this route or down this avenue.
I don't particularly let me change that. Yeah, it speeds up the creative process when used properly, right?
But going back to kind of the RecTech piece though, but this is where I think that actually what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace good development of people with more tools.
Yeah. With just machinery and AI.
Yeah, it's like,
I think there's an element of that consumerism piece as well though, right? Like when like a new console hits and everybody wants it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it just gathers dust in the corner. Eventually they stop playing it as much and all the rest of it, right? Or like the latest bit of, the latest whatever comes out.
Trainers, people collecting trainers and shit like that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's that element of consumerism has blended into the business place where you're right, it's not that big of a problem, but it kind of exists. So let me create a tool and let me put it out in the market. Loads of people will flood onto it, and I've got a massive user base for 3 to 6 months until people kind of cotton on and be like, it's not really that good, is it?
And it's probably a lot of times where you buy these things and then
they just don't
6 months, 9 months down the line, you're like, you don't actually use it. And then you get a phone call from someone going like, we're going to renew it. And you're like, do you know what? I haven't even used this. Like, do I even need it anymore?
But I can tell you from experience, from kind of the rec tool stuff that I'm doing, there is a lot of that going on at the minute.
Yeah.
So VCs and PEs that invested in a lot of these rec tech companies have now paused product development by and large. We're not investing any further in the product. Get the sales in. So they're investing in teams of sales outreach and all the rest of it, because it's kind of like, no, we need to see a return on this investment now. And a lot of the sort of the sales directors and stuff that I'm speaking to, there's a huge focus on retention of customers, whereas it used to just be we only look at the new customers coming in.
Yeah.
And they kind of almost...
I think part of that's probably the money's drying up in the VC
it,
world
right?
at the moment,
VCs
and the wider
going,
economy.
Taps off, and now they're like, oh, crap. And it's all about, okay, well, we've had a customer that signed in for 12 months, they used the product for 3.5, and haven't touched it since, they haven't logged in since.
Yeah.
And and automated outreach emails of like, we notice you haven't logged in, what's going on? Because all they care about is like, you're not going to renew. You're not going to renew.
Yeah.
You're coming to the end of your agreement. That's another like revenue. That's another kind of line of revenue that we can't account for in next year's projections.
And I've been there as well. And it's a scary, I had to sell advertising space, and sometimes you have someone on like a 12-month contract, and it comes to the end, you're like, okay, they're going to renew. Like, this is like a big kind of fee. If they don't renew, like, I'm going to lose out on a massive amount of my target, and then I'm going to have to go out there and get more new business in or whatever it may be. So
so I think that trend is now starting to, it's trying to be seen, because I think a lot of people have got your opinion on it, which is exactly that. We tried all the tech, and do you know what? I just need people to be I need to develop my people.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, but minimize what you need and focus more on developing your consultants. Like, get them to be better salespeople. Train them up on like challenger sales.
A good consultant with an excellent toolbox can be a great consultant.
Yeah.
A poor consultant with a great toolbox is not going to be a great consultant.
Yeah,
it's still going to be a poor consultant.
I mean,
it's that mentality, isn't it?
In your world, it could work quite well in the sense that, okay, do you hire another developer to support your kind of your business and build more websites, or actually can you get AI to write you baseline code so that you can tweak it?
Yeah,
possibly it'd be a more cost-effective way of doing it.
Yeah, I'd probably get a developer just so I can talk to someone for once.
To AI.
Just send him.
He's lonely.
Just lonely.
Just call him every now and then.
There's only so far the AI will go. But no, yeah. So yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I'd probably go down that get a developer route anyway. You can't really. I think the AI can supplement it, but you still need that developer to kind of
do what you
give
tell
the
it to
prompts and to put it in there and things like that.
It's going to do what you've asked it to do, right?
I mean, if I get the AI to write me a website, I'd be like, amazing, done, and then just put it into this. That'd be brilliant. But
having another developer though is another viewpoint.
Right?
Somebody to look at it and be like, I get what you're doing there, but what about this? How about this? Oh, I saw this. You know what I mean? AI is not going to be like, oh, hey, Rob, I've just seen this new tech. Or this new API has been released. We should look at it.
Or this new kind of website. I like the look of this. Or this new functionality. Or this new integration. So, yeah.
How much time do you spend with your kind of your prospect customers, telling them about what different tools are out there or different integrations are out there that they haven't maybe thought about? So you mentioned like the HubSpot chatbot, for example.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a HubSpot user, I may not know that exists, and therefore I haven't even thought about putting that onto my website, where there's a clear advantage of having that, right?
Yeah. So it's normally at the kind of briefing stage. So normally you're engaged with a potential client. They'll be like, yeah, do you know what? I'm up for this. Let's make a website together. And then at that briefing stage, we're kind of go through, obviously the basics of the website, the colors, the images, the content and stuff like that, but then also the kind of functionality. And that conversation comes in then, so what integrations are you going to need? What's your current CRM, And I will suggest there's, some really good tech out here. I probably won't just, be, selling people stuff, but there's some really good kind of tech out there that I really like, and I see it all the expos and stuff like that. So normally I'll mention a few things. I'll be like, have you considered, this particular company or this particular company? Why don't you have a look at that and then come back and we can have a conversation? Or I'll give them a little kind of condensed 30-second pitch of like, this is what you can do. We can integrate this as well. So have a think about that. But a lot of times they come to you and be like, we're using these things. Can we integrate this into the website?
Okay.
So let's debunk some kind of recruitment website, I guess, phobias and taboos and that sort of stuff, right? So things like cybersecurity on websites. A lot of people will talk about kind of having, what is it called, an SSL certificate or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say, you need that in this day and age. Like 20 years ago, fair enough, then, you didn't have that, no one really noticed. But like in this day and age...
Your browser brings it to the person's attention now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's there, it's there in the browser, this isn't secure, this website isn't secure. And if I land on a website and it's saying that to me, I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to go somewhere else because there's another 10, 20 websites.
Why would you go somewhere else then? So if I'm a complete tech dinosaur now, right? And I've looked at this, I was like, I don't give a shit.
Why is that important? Yeah, it's a good, fair point. Yeah.
So I'm happy to give my laptop herpes. Do you know what I mean? Like, the old LimeWire days.
I'm just going to download everything.
I can't believe this film's only 3 megabytes.
You could always work it out though, couldn't you? Like if it was too small, you'd be like, oh, that's a virus, isn't it? If it was too big, you'd be like, that's definitely a virus. It needs to be in that kind of sweet spot.
Yeah, but you're like, it might not be.
I went down that route, and destroyed so many computers through downloading music. So like I've been there. I think we're all more savvy these days.
Okay, so why is it important then for me to not go onto that website? What happens to me then?
So encryption, for example. So if you have a recruitment agency, you've probably got a contact form. And if I want to get in touch with you, I'm going to put my details into that contact form. So I put my first name, last name, my email address, my telephone number. I'm probably going to attach my CV. On my CV, there's probably going to be my address. Sometimes people put their NI number on there, maybe still. Their date of birth.
There's a lot of sensitive data there.
Yeah, their school.
Mother's maiden name.
Yeah, mother's maiden name, all this kind of stuff.
Before.
Yeah, so like you're putting
height
it in there.
Weight, BMI ratio, the lot.
And and if that isn't encrypted, people can intercept their data. And you've got, it's like a recruitment agency CRM. There's so much sensitive data in there, like more so than any other company. That if someone can hack
qualifications, you've got university degrees, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Or if they've got kind of a portal or something like that attached to the website, people are using a password to log in. They're probably using the same password. They might not have a password generator. People can kind of intercept that, and then.
So if I'm a candidate and I jump onto the Microsoft Group website, and it says that I've not got an SSL certificate, I'm at risk then of potentially all of that kind of data.
I personally wouldn't put any data into that. I might still use it, and you'll probably still be fine using it
to browse.
To browse around and look around, like it's going to be fine. But I personally wouldn't put any data into that, and it might not get hacked. Like you might be safe, but is it worth the risk? Probably not.
Okay, so if I'm the agency owner then of that website,
buy an SSL certificate.
Yeah. Well, get onto your website and have a look at it, and if it's not there, then you need to ask.
So can I go to if I'm downloading like a Wix website or like
so normally when you buy your domains, there's normally a few things. You normally need to register your domain, actually buy the domain. You'll need kind of email addresses and stuff like that, and you need hosting as well. So when you buy your domain, when you buy michaelsharma.group.co.uk, you're normally given the option .com. Sorry, .com.
There's not that many of us.
You're normally given the option to buy that certificate. I'd say buy it. It's normally small. If you go with some providers, it's normally free of charge. So yeah.
Okay. So if I'm doing like a self-service GoDaddy type page, then I would still have access to that.
I think like Wix and all those kind of guys, I think they kind of give you it anyway as part of it. So you'll get that as part of the package. But yeah, if you're given the option whether to buy it or not buy it, definitely get it. Yeah.
And are there like different levels of kind of SSL that I can get, or is it just like a one size fits all?
Just one size fits all. Yeah.
Fine. So going on to kind of other,
you're going to be mega mind after this.
I know.
I know everything about recruitment websites.
No, I feel like you guys are just nicking my ideas. You're going to start up like a web design agency. Or something like that.
No, but we had it when we were doing the rec dev stuff, where there were a lot of people like, oh, well, I don't need that, I don't need this, I don't need that. What about things like if we're talking about fucking hell's come on my head, but fuck, what was
Gives
I
me a second
saying?
to
no
drink.
idea. SEO. Let's debunk an SEO myth then. Is that not just writing the same thing again and again and again on your website?
No.
Of course it's not.
Rob. So let me school you on SEO. No, I'm not an SEO expert. So I work with a guy who I get to do the SEO for the websites and stuff like that. He's absolutely amazing. He used to head up an SEO agency, but that's not my kind of field of expertise. I know a little bit. So when I'm writing the code for the website, there's certain things you can do to make it SEO optimized. So if you want to jump on your website to see how well it is SEO optimized, you can look at your website, you right click, there's a little toolbar that pops up, click inspect, and there's like a panel that pops up on the right hand side, and you have all these kind of developer tools, and there'll be a little kind of tab that says Lighthouse. Run Lighthouse, and it'll tell you how fast your website is, how well it is like SEO optimized, accessibility for wheelchair users, and all these kind of things really.
Got a ramp.
But I'll write the code so that it is like, it'll be like 98 or 99 out of 100 kind of SEO optimized, and that's just using kind of semantic, like certain kind of tags and stuff like that, and laying things out in a certain way, or having like a sitemap that kind of dynamically kind of updates when you add new blog posts or jobs or things like that really. So you kind of do all these things from a developer point of view, and it will kind of increase your SEO ranking, but then you still need to update it on a regular basis. So if you've got a blog page, you still need to update this on a weekly basis. If you've got jobs coming in, put them on the website. They're going to get listed on Google for jobs if you've kind of configured that properly and stuff like that. So yeah, all of these things kind of play in, and I do my little bit, but I'm not an expert. So yeah.
No, but that's massively valuable for anybody who's like, let me just have a quick look at my crap.
Or even images and stuff like that. The images you use and whether you kind of optimize them, these all kind of play a part of it. And mobile responsiveness, that kind of plays a part in kind of SEO as well. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Templates was what I was thinking of.
There we go.
A lot of people don't like having recruitment website templates, do they? They're always like, oh, make me a bespoke one. Charge me the same price as you are for the templates.
Yeah.
Make me a bespoke one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I think there's like providers out there that offer, kind of those templates and stuff like that. I guess I've come into this market and I've, taught
I heard he
myself
sold and ran away again.
But I prefer making them bespoke. I prefer doing my thing, and I just started launching new products where it is kind of like startup templates.
Yeah.
So if you just start up your recruitment agency, you don't want to spend X £1,000s on a website. You can.
They also haven't got the time to invest in actually sitting down and thinking. This is almost kind of like at this point, at early startup, they literally just want to be like,
yeah.
And
that makes my job hard. Sometimes I'll get a client and they'll be like, okay, yeah, let's do a website. And then you just don't hear back from them. Like, okay, can you fill out,
I'm an accounting finance recruiter in Coventry, just do me a website.
It's just
I like the colour green.
Yeah. I know, I've had that before. It's like, oh yeah, I want like a black and yellow website. And you're like, okay. Or I want a green website, or I want a blue website. And it's like, I need more than that. Like, can you give me some websites to like look of? Like,
do you know how many different types of blue there are?
I know. There's like 1,000. Like, you say blue, like, give me the hex code, give me the precise hex code. But yeah, I need like inspiration, like I need the content, I need the kind of images you want to use. So yeah, that's always a big barrier when people kind of go, I want a website, and it's the time investment from their side of being like, okay, now I've got to sit down and go, okay, I've got to write the content for the homepage, for the About Us page, for the team page, all these kind of things you just don't really think about. And then you've got to source all these images. You can spend like a day or 2 days or 3 days looking for images like that you like the look of. So yeah.
Just get AI to do it.
Get AI to do it.
Get Dally to just
get Dally,
make me 15
just weird people with like 17 fingers
blue.
And stuff like that.
Just blue calculators. There you go.
Accounting finance, there, completed it.
Yeah. It's going to save me time. Thanks for the tips.
So your thing is just, do you rarely do the templates then, or kind of do you have some templates, but you
most of it's kind of just bespoke stuff at the moment. Yeah, so pretty much everything is just bespoke. So as people coming to me, it's me, writing everything from scratch and then kind of running it out. So yeah.
And how about things like if I'm looking at doing like website updates and all that sort of stuff? I mean that tends to be something that we as business owners, when we had when we were outsourcing it, we never really took advantage of. So we used to get, what was it, like a couple of hours a month or something like that we used to be able to get in terms of our kind of update stuff. Is it important for websites to be updated 2 hours every month?
I think most of the time they kind of just look after themselves. Just shoot myself in the foot, and I obviously loads of agencies going to phone me up now and kill me, but like most of the time they just kind of look after. There's some so if you got kind of like WordPress, if you've got a WordPress website, I don't make WordPress websites, but if you have a WordPress website, there's kind of plugins and things like that, like libraries they kind of use for certain things. You need to kind of keep those updated from a security point of view. I use a framework that's used by Google called Angular. I kind of update that once every 6 months because a new version comes out. But most of the time, these things kind of tick over by themselves. You probably want to do like a backup of the website. So if someone's uploading, blog posts or vacancy posts and things like that, you probably want to do a backup on a regular basis so they don't lose all that kind of content. and we keep all those in a database anyway. So if the website does go down, or you know, you're back on LimeWire and you download loads of stuff and you destroy the website, you know, we've got backups of that. But most of the time they kind of just sit there and look after themselves. There's a bit you need to jump in here and there and do, but it's not a huge amount of work really, no.
So actually, there's a really strong case to be made then against, like, okay, yeah, you've got your LinkedIn page, yeah, you've got your socials and all that sort of stuff that you can put yourself out on. But actually, what you're saying is that the website offers an agency way more than just presence online now, isn't it? It's more than just brochureware.
Yeah, I think there's so much you can do with it, and it's, I guess, relatively free. I mean, once you pay for it, that cost is gone. It's kind of sitting there, you know, maintaining itself really, and it's your avenue of, you know, kind of posting jobs. You don't have to go to those job boards or whatever it may be and pay X amount per job. You know, put them on your website, advertise them on your website. They're going to go into Google for jobs if you set up as well, and people are going to be funneled in that way. So I think I think you need to be on LinkedIn, you need to be on all these social media channels, you need to be picking up the phone and talking to clients and candidates and emailing people. But it's another part, and I think it's a big part, and I'm going to say that because obviously I sell websites, but yeah, I think it's a big part of having a recruitment agency and marketing yourself to clients, to candidates, to talent.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, and again, using it as a pitch deck as well, because actually you don't need to create now a PDF document of, oh, here's what we do and here's the sort of business that
just
we're
put it on your website.
We stopped, when you said that before, I thought about this. We stopped doing that when we were happy with our website. When we took it back over and we were like, right, no, we've designed it how we wanted it and everything was like, this looks slick. The next like 6 businesses, because for some reason we like to get told no by all the big businesses all the time, right? So we go after the big ones.
Say yes eventually.
Yeah. Well, and then they do.
Yeah.
But like every single one that asked for a pitch deck, we were like, no, just go on the website. Everything you needed on the website. I'm not putting together a separate supplement document for it.
Are you going to read it as well? Like,
yeah, well,
are you going to read the media pack? I'm going to send over the media pack.
But at least on my website, I can see
it.
that you have been on it or haven't been on it and where you've navigated. Whereas on a PDF, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's kind of like fobbing you off as well. It's like, oh yeah, send me a pitch deck. Why do you want the pitch deck?
It's the classic. Just send it to recruitment at wherever. Like, it's like, all right, that's
bin.com. Yeah.
And at the beginning, you're like, oh yeah, I've got a lead. Like this is wicked.
You fucking have it, mate.
Send over an email.
We joke about it all the time.
I'm going to follow up next week.
And like literally just me and you got in like a picture of us like that.
It should be like a KPI, like how many candidates you've seen, how many pitch decks you sent out.
Yeah. Rob, great call times, great placements. You only sent out
30 pitch decks.
Yeah, you only sent out 2 pitch decks, mate. It's not enough. We need to get more out.
So do most websites then, because there's things like, and I'm going to use it because I don't know if there's any other competitors out there, but things like lead forensics and Google Analytics and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So is there a lot more of that now that's coming to light for kind of agency users to have a look at, oh, fucking actually, I've seen these people come onto our website?
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot with, so you've got, I guess, kind of Google Analytics 4, and you've got Google Tag Manager. If you've got a small agency, you probably just need Google Analytics 4. It's normally just kind of a line or two that you can kind of, it's like a tracking code, you just put into your website quite easily. And yeah, you can kind of analyze, I guess, the amount of traffic you're getting, when people are hitting your website.
Busiest pages.
Yeah, maybe you could see like, oh, okay, people are hitting the website between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m, but there's no one in the office at that time. And if they do phone up, like, no one's going to be there, obviously. So maybe I invest in a chatbot and I put a chatbot on the website, and then that can kind of field some of that, or I can get a live chat thing and, you know, train some people up, and they can kind of like put questions into that, and maybe that's a good way to kind of funnel users in and to keep them more engaged, whatever it may be. And you can see kind of traffic, or maybe you've done a marketing campaign on LinkedIn, you want to kind of see if it's kind of actually works and like driven traffic to your website, or with Google AdWords, wherever it may be. So there's a lot you can do with it, and if you use it properly and you have the time to use it properly and you can teach yourself, it's a great tool.
I think that's really important actually, because what you're talking about now is actually engaging with people who jump onto your site. Whereas if you take LinkedIn, for example, if you've got LinkedIn Premium, you'll have this person viewed your profile, and immediately if there's somebody who's a potential client or candidate who's viewed your profile, you're like, hey, what's going on? But if
just send that like LinkedIn request straight away. Hey, do you want to buy my product?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Hey, I saw you notice my profile. That means you want to buy something from me.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, you're human. I'm human too.
Yeah, but actually, you can now do that really with the websites, can't you? So if you see people going onto your website, you can actually engage with that traffic.
I think it depends on your view of what you see your recruitment website as, right? If you take it back to, if you see it as just brochureware, then you're not going to give a shit about the data that comes off the back of it. If you see it as an essential part of your business toolbox, you absolutely want your tag managers in place and your analytics in place and your insights in place so that you can capitalize on when are people coming on my site, where are they going, what blogs are they reading, why are those ones the most popular ones, how do I get more of that out, you know what I mean, how do I give my
and I think
website
if you've
visitors
been
more
in a
value?
position before where your website has done well for you, you understand the value of it. I think the downside is if your website has been, on page 10 or 20 or whatever it may be, you don't see the value in it. And
it's akin to when recruiters don't use their CRM. You've got 20, 30,000 candidates on your CRM and you're still going to the job board.
You go to, a new job comes in and you're jumping on LinkedIn and doing a search. Like, go for the CRM, go for the database. Like, there's 10 years worth of candidates on there that you're probably going to get someone on there, first of all. And
those candidates potentially could be clients as well now. They might have gone through that journey where they're now a hiring manager. He's like, oh, fucking actually, we haven't spoken in ages.
Yeah, and you've got all their details. You've got the email address already. Like, you don't have to send an email. You've got the email address. You've got the mobile number. Phone them up. Like, if they're not looking, then switch the conversation over and be like, oh, okay, are you recruiting or whatever it may be?
And
or do you have referrals? Or
But I think that's it. I think you probably made a really compelling case to actually kind of liken recruitment websites to how people are using CRMs, in that people have almost misused it for a long time. People have just used it as a dumping ground of, here's a bit of my
I think a lot of them are very complex to use though as well. That's the tricky
my website
thing.
does nothing for me.
Yeah.
That's not good enough, because it's like, because you're not using it properly.
Yeah, if you invest in it, it will do a lot for your business. There's no excusing that. The people on page 1 of Google, they want to be on page 1 because they're getting business. Like, there's the whole thing behind being on page 1, because people know if you're on page 1, you're getting business coming in, you're getting money come in the front door, you're getting revenue come in, you're getting jobs, you're getting candidates. Simple as that.
I think the important question is, though, how do I get on page 1 of Bing? Because,
do you know what Bing though is? It's underused at the moment, and I think Microsoft.
This next segment is sponsored by Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft obviously they're invested into LinkedIn now. They've got OpenAI. Yeah, but they've got these things. I think Bing's gonna come up. I think that is like like people are putting money into Google AdWords. I say put money into Bing advertising. It's probably going to be cheaper, and I think that search engine will probably start going
and
up
it's
a little
forced
bit.
upon you by your Microsoft desktop anyway, isn't it?
I mean, don't go on Yahoo or something like that, but
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, Ask Jeeves. That's still going.
Ask is still a thing, Ask.com still a thing.
My computer keeps on resetting back to Yahoo for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's like secure search. It's like set to, I should know these things, the technical point of, but it just keeps on resetting back to that.
That's actually a Trojan.
Is that it?
Yeah. You've got got something hidden away. Yeah,
I think there's like
it's not like a malicious thing. It's like Lauren's laptop kept doing. Remember, and we were like, "Why do you keep going on Yahoo?" She's like, "I'm not."
Yeah,
and it was something.
I think it's it was some software, the antivirus software. Something like that. I think part of that is directs me to that. So
is the antivirus owned by Yahoo or something?
We are going to make a bet on that now.
I think hers was the same. It was McAfee, and she kept like. Yeah, every time McAfee would be like, "Oh, your license is expired,"
I think mine might have that. I might have that as well.
She'd end up back on Yahoo, and she's like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like,
yeah. It's useless as well. Keep on typing stuff in. It's like, just give me random results.
It's like, talk to me about the latest AI. So Yahoo have got this thing now.
Right, man. Right. So, how do our viewers get in touch with you? What are they?
Via my website.
Via your website. That would have been the most ironic statement there, wouldn't it? Like, just call me. My website's under construction at the minute, so just call me.
Do you know, I prefer the telephone. So if you want to give me a call, my telephone's on the website. So it's abstractionlabs.co.uk. But call me up.
Couldn't afford that.com.
I thought about it and I was like, I'm going to focus on UK businesses, so I'm going to go for the .co.uk.
I don't think it matters anymore. There was a time where it used to be like, you have to have a .com, but now you've got like .io, and there's another one that's come out.
I think it contributes a little bit somehow in searches and stuff like that.
John gives me the ick. .co.
.co, I'm just like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, where's the rest of it?
I know, I need more. Like someone gave me that URL, I'm like, is it missing something? I've put this in wrong, surely. Like there must be like a UK or an M there, surely.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
There's a what's it out there, because IO is obviously Indian Ocean, isn't it? So there's now a PO for the Pacific Ocean.
Excellent.
And there's another one as well that recently came out. I can't remember which one it was, but it's like MS or something like that for the Mediterranean Sea. It's like, seriously, is that where we're going with this now? That's kind of
run out of like location. Yeah.
So abstractionlabs.co.uk.
Yeah.
You're on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, email, telephone, mobile, switchboards.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
what's that? You can turn a
Rentals as
website around in 2 hours. That's sick.
Yeah, we want a website in 2 hours. I could do that, bam, like that.
All you got to do is tell him what you're recruiting,
And
the
the
colour that
colour.
you want.
The colour, just say
Yeah,
green or blue.
Yeah, and send a picture of something that you like.
Yeah, and don't bother with the content. Like, it's cool. I'll just make it up.
AI.
Yeah, I'll just do
AI
AI.
to do all of that.
Yeah.
Well, look, Rob, it's been great having you on board, mate. Thanks very
Pleasure.
much for the insights and the
appreciate
tidbits.
your time. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Perfect.
What? Oh.